Hi, a very good morning to all of you. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us today in yet another webinar on service process automation today. My name is Rahul Mishra and I shall be hosting and presenting the webinar today. With me, I have Ms. Yogita Chabra from the pre-sales team who would be talking us on some of the insights on the process automation. Hi Yogita, how are you? Thank you for joining us today.
Hi Rahul, I'm fine.
Yeah, so today in this webinar, we would be sharing some of the insights on various aspects of service process automation, which will eventually increase the overall productivity by about 59% based on the case study that we have. Uh, so broadly here, if you can see the slide here, I'm sure you can see the attendees here. My screen should be visible to you all. So we'll be covering on some of the key pointers, including omni-channel platforms, auto call allocation, auto PO creation. So these are some of the aspects which are very imperative in automation of your service processes. Then we'll be talking about preventive maintenance, setup and notification, followed by franchisee payouts, especially for organizations which tend to kind of outsource the service processes and also the travel claims. We'll be talking about how effectively you can record on the customer satisfaction, followed by predictive maintenance on the IoT connected devices. So one being the preventive maintenance, and then we will also take a step ahead and talk about predictive maintenance. So before we begin here, just a little housekeeping. So all the audience lines will be muted while the presentation is on, just to avoid the background noises and distractions. We would certainly like to hear on the questions and your opinion on the presentation today. So please type into your questions on the navigator panel. There's a box where you can raise into your questions. You can always raise your hand in case you have any query or opinion about this presentation. And not to worry, because we'll record this webinar and the link will be shared to all the participants once this webinar is over. So yes, we are recording this session. Yeah, so just a small thought before we begin, just to understand what enhances productivity, because today the entire session will be around maximizing the productivity of overall as an organization. So your employees, your field force, your other stakeholders can be various components, various pillars, but enhancing the overall productivity can be only talked about when we take care of some of the key pillars here of your service operations, right from your faster case closure, which can only be done if you support your engineers and your customers so that they have a real-time value and information, followed by smart self-service. If you enhance your service operation in a way that you give access to your customers as well as your field force to have a real-time information, that is something which enhances your productivity, followed by personalized care, where you have an insight on all your customers, their behaviors, their buying, as well as their service behaviors, how many repeat calls are coming, all those information should be made available. And then, as I talk about it, easy registration process. So which means allow for centralized management of all customer data and help to customers to register their complaints, not only on phone, but through wide range of channels. So those channels we'll be talking about today. So these are some of the imperative things that actually enhances overall productivity. And while every organization is trying to add value, let's understand final the core objective of adding value is one is your customer retention. So while you are opening channels where the customer can register, they can talk to the organization, OEMs or service personnel. I think the final motto is customer retention. So if you have a better value to the business, you'll end up with a better customer retention. So we covered this piece in the last webinar series, followed by endorsement. Any happy customer that you have, it will bring in to new customers, because customers start likely to give recommendation to others. Followed by enrichment. Every satisfied customers, they buy additional products and services from the company. So having said that, we'll be talking about the first thing, which is omni-channel platform. So while you're trying to enhance productivity, while you're trying to increase revenues, while you are trying to have a better connect with customers, I think the first and foremost pillar in the service process automation is when you give option to register your service complaint by not only on phone, but there can be a number of channels. So here, if you have a CRM in place, which allows users to register customer complaints on SMS, it can be either walk-in or website, web portal, where he can simply drop down the inquiry or suggestions, which can be linked to any core platform, followed by email, IVR, call center, mobile app. So the entire goal of doing all these omni-channel is to have a 24 by 7 operational efficiency, which will in turn reduce on the total workload. So not only the complaints, if you see here in the right hand side, it can be registration also, be it your customer, product, and warranty. This creates a major impact in the total workload that we have also covered in the last session, where we talked about if you have this system in place, you'd end up having a better productivity in terms of certain numbers. Because what will happen is this will be more of an automated process and there is no much need of human intervention. So it increases your efficiency. And then it can be a service request also. So one is registration and then service request. So as a customer, I can place my service request by mobile app or on IVR or by simply sending a email which will be populated on a CRM. Then we have a status update and query. So since I have registered myself and raised certain service requests, I can also track on the status of all the queries that I have placed. So one is my requirement, which is more of my service request as well as demo request or installation request. Second can be a feedback also. So one is that you manually enter all the feedback, which is subject to some of the I would say channel, like it can be manually by technicians or outbound call center. But then the extension of this can be giving feedback on IVR or taking feedback through emails, or it can be other way, can be happy code. So one is my complaint, second can be feedback. So we can configure all sort of omni-channel registration and feedback mechanism. So I would request Yogita now to talk about the next aspect of the service automation, which is auto call allocation. Yogita?
Thank you, Rahul. Good morning, everyone. So this is the next process is auto call allocation. So here we are going to talk about the process which can help you or can give benefits to the OEM or the customers to the both for the service point of view. So on the left side on the screen, you can see these parameters. On these parameters, we can define the auto allocation rule engine in a system. So with these parameters, we can define or we can manage our workflows. So starting from the pin code, we can say auto allocation could be done on basis of pin code, product, and service center mapping. And of course, a skill-based assignment is available there. So starting from the pin code, so whenever the complaint would be registered by the customer, so with respect to the customer area or the customer addresses, so we can specify the service center or the technician with respect to the specific area, so that we directly call could be allocated to the team, so they can reach out to the customer and can visit at their place. Second point we are talking about here, the product. So on basis of specific product, we can map the team or the technician team there, so they can reach at the customer place and provide the services for the specific product there. Third point is service center mapping. So if we are fulfilling the above two conditions, so accordingly we can map the service center. I mean the specific area we can define, and parallelly we can define the specific product whom he needs to provide the services to the customer. And last not the least, the skill-based assignment. So in skill-based assignment, we could refer the person whom having an expertise to provide a specific services to the specific product. So let's say we can take example here. Any of XYZ company has launched a product in the market. They will hire the team, train them, enhance their skill, and make them ready to provide the services for their premium products. So this also comes under the skill-based assignment there. On the right side, you can see the benefits that can be provided to the organization and the customers by opting the process of call allocation here. So the first point, we are saying less pressure on call center. So of course, it would help to reduce the workload over the call center by removing the manual task of assignment of call. Next point, we are talking about right person can reach at right time. So if we are doing the right mapping with the right way, so call could be directly assigned to the correct person on a correct time there. And also it reduces the response time with respect to the customer. Third point, we are talking about integrated view of customer details. So we are talking about integrated view. That means with respect to the customer, we are seeking the complete details of the customer address, product details, and of course the complaint details. So all these information we can see in a single mobile application or a single page over there. Fourth point is at the point resolution. So I would say if I'm following the above two parameters, like if I'm assigning the call to the right person on the right time, and I would get the details of customer. So the person who is available in the field have a rights to take a decision earlier and provide the services on time. So that's the point of the resolution here. Last, not the least, this is a satisfied customers. So same in a similar manner, if we are following the above three parameters there, we are assigning the call on time, we would have our customer details, and of course we are providing the solution to the customer as per their categories. So of course customer would provide you satisfactory feedback, and also he can give recommendations to others that could lead or more attract to the business here. So this is the part of the auto call allocation that would be a more important for the services point of view. So moving to the next slide. This is the another process, auto PO creation. So that is basically used to manage your and your service franchisee inventory here. So here I will talk about the two processes here. Let's say I can take example of service center or the service franchisee. So basically he needs to manage the stock. So he has a two options how they can manage the stock in their inventory. So the first point is the buffer stock. So the one way is whenever the stock would be goes down in your inventory, you can create the PO. So this is the manual process here. If I will talk about the automation here, so I can go with the MSL process. This is the abbreviation is minimum stock level. So by implementing the MSL process, I can automate or I can move the transaction of my inventory very smooth. So in a MSL process, we define a threshold level. So similarly, whenever the stock would goes down below the threshold level, system will create an auto PO in our system, and it would be reflect to the warehouse or your central warehouse or mother warehouse for the fulfillment and the dispatch activities. So this is the one part about the buffer stock. One is your manual process, and another your automation, which we are applying here by implementing the MSL. My next point is you can order the spare on request. So this is the request generally raised by the technician or the field person available at the customer place. So this is the section where you can raise the request to repair the part. So this is the request raised by the technician converted into directly auto PO in our system, and the same process would be followed through the warehouse by the fulfillment and dispatch. Second point, we are talking about auto parts ordering as per MSL. So we are saying here that we can implement the process of MSL for the buffer stock and as well as for the spare parts as well. So these implementation can be done here. Next, I am talking about automatic PO generation for warranty replacement. So warranty replacement, if I will talk about something like we can say the product is not repairable or the specific part is not available to repair the product. So in that case, we provide the replacement to the customer. So in this section, technician needs to order or collect some kind of proof to provide the replacement to the customer. So these requests would go to the concerned authority, and when it would be approved by them, it would be again reflect to the warehouse for the replacement. So this is all the smart processes or the automation we have applied here. to manage your inventory or for the smooth transaction. So you can do that. Moving to the next slide, this is the preventive maintenance setup and notification, which is all about AMC and the extended warranty slab. So first, I would say AMC product creation. So whenever you are registering the AMC in your system, you have to link the products. Linking product, referring something, you can define the warranty or the extended warranty for your products and spares as well separately. You can define the duration separately. You can maintain the deliverables. You can provide customer free visits, preventive maintenance visit, free spare parts. So this is the offers you can provide to the customer. And once you have done the product creation in a system, you can go with the AMC registration, where you have to define customer details, AMC details, payment modes, everything you have to define that. Once all these set up, you would create in a system. So come to the point, preventive setup. So on a due date, ticket would be created in a system. This would be an auto ticket. So, and one SMS would be sent to the customer with respect to the purposes the ticket would be created, and the same notification would post to the engineer to visit at customer place for the preventive maintenance. So this is one automation we have applied here. Next, we are talking about AMC maturity. So here we are saying notification and alert. So on a due date or before the date, we can send notification or alerts to the customer through SMS about the expiry of the contracts. So these things can be managed by these process as well. So moving to the next slide, franchisee payout and travel claim. So franchisee payout basically refer to the service center, and generally they get the payouts for their calls completed at their end by providing the services to the customer. And travel claims generally claimed by the technician who is working in a field. So first we have to do the master setup in a system. We can define the payout on basis of service center, local charges, upcountry charges, call type we can define, or also basis of TAT we can define the payout setup there. Second, we are talking about claim process dates. So we can define the dates in a system. So when the claim would be generated, and we can also specify the rejection date or rejection reversal date over there. We can also implement the clause for the penalty, and also implement the calls for the repeat call identifications here. So with these three parameters, we come up with the outcome when the claim would be generated and how it would be appear to the service center for the review there. So all these things we can define in a master setup, and ultimately outcome would be visible to you. Next point would be daily call evaluation process and the rejection penalty reversal. So in both these parameters, we are putting a validation against the repeat calls if we are getting in a system, duplicate calls we are getting in a system, and the multiple calls. So all these through the validation we can identify the calls over there. We can tagging out or the validation put against the payout here. So once all those activities would be done, service center would claim about the payout to the HO user, and after the process of all the reviews, he can penalize for the every call and can approve to the service center there. So once all those activities would be done, the last point would be that data feed to ERP. All the details would be pushing to the ERP by doing the integration through the API there. So we can create the PO and the billing process there. Next is the point for the travel claims, which would be generally managed by the technicians. So he can, we have provided a facility in our mobile applications that on basis of distance calculation, technician can claim their travel claims over there. So that's it from my side. So over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, thank you, Yogita, for such a wonderful insight on various processes. I would just pause for a minute. I think few of the people they are trying, there are some audio issues. Just give me a second. Yes. Yeah. So So thank you, Yogita, for such a wonderful insight on various aspects. So let me just summarize once again. So we've talked about the while we are talking about the entire ticket flow or the service call flow. First thing is call registration, which we said that by way of automation, you can have a omni-channel registration process, not from only on IVR or call center. It can be by email or various other modes that we talked about, followed by Yogita talked about on auto allocation of such tickets to directly engineers based on either pin or for that matter skills or based on the product, which once is being served by the technician, she can raise a PO for the spares. So this spare, which we tend to request manually from the warehouse, now this can be automated in a way that this auto PO can be sent based on the MSR logic, or if required on a given ticket, they can simply use a mobile app and they can raise a service the request for the spare. Then Yogita also talked about on preventive maintenance. So since preventive maintenance is still in most of the organization, it is very unorganized way of managing it. So now system can trigger all those PM schedules. So this PM schedules can be sent directly to the service center or engineers. So thereby cutting on the manual effort. And then of course, franchisee payout is one of the very important aspects, especially for organization where you have a large number of service centers to be managed, and that too are third-party service centers. So then you can also talk about a franchisee payout, which can be automated, and various processes can be mapped by using a CRM in place. So now I'll be talking about very important aspect of service management, which is customer satisfaction, because it is not only the sale which matters today for bigger revenues. I think we'll all understand your happy customer will bring into you a repeated revenue. And so for any organization to have a sustainable business, I think CSAT is something which is very important and which is a prime focus today. So what most of the organizations currently they do is they rely more on to the manual way of recording customer satisfaction. So it can be either outbound calling to a customer. Now this mechanism has a limitations in the number of calls one can make. So that's very obvious that a given technician or a sorry call center user can call up to a certain number of users in a given day. So you have a restriction on the number of calls to be made. It requires a huge manpower deployment for catering to a large number of customers. Second, it can be a technician recording a feedback on a call closure. So while your technician they are moving in field and doing a call closure, they are raising questions for the feedback to the customers, which is subject to so many leakages. Technician may or may not fill the right response given by the customers. And then a very I would say primitive way of recording a CSAT can be mailed to customers. So sending your electronic mailers to your customers and then requesting for their feedback can be a generic way of recording CSAT. But then all these mechanisms, they are subject to certain limitation in the number of feedback one can attain. And also it has attached sort of leakages with these processes. So what we suggest as a part of CRM is automating this process as well. So one way can be simply sending SMS with email with web link. So the moment a call is closed, if you have a system in place, we can trigger an SMS to a customer, which can have a web link. The moment I click on this link, I should get a feedback form. I, as a customer, if I fill that form, it should be coming back to a CRM, which should be tagged to that particular call. So this will be more genuine and more appropriate of recording a CSAT. But not every customer will give you email. So then we also have a SMS mechanism. So either SMS or email, this is an automation in terms of CSAT recording, followed by a simple mechanism of configuring happy codes. So anytime when a call was created by any of the platform, one automated SMS can be sent to a customer. If your customer is happy, they can always give this happy code to the technician, which can be entered to a mobile app, and then you can record a genuine feedback of the customer. Now, as an extension to this happy code, we have tend to configured dual codes also. So now we've started to send dual codes where you send one code for happy and one for not happy customers. So simply entering that number, you'll be able to check whether the customer was happy with the service or not. Now this can also be, I would say, there can be multiple codes based on various ranking, but usually it is widely adopted way is either happy or dual code. And next thing can be a customer mobile app which can be given to, it can be placed on the Play Store or for that matter iStore, where all your customers for a given brand can download the mobile app and they can register their satisfaction survey on the mobile app just by opening their service call, and they can record the feedback. So while you're adopting these technologies, it becomes more agile, more scalable sort of operations. So no matter whatever volume of customers you have, you will be able to cater it without much use of manual intervention here. So that is something which is, I think, very important while you are managing your service. We'll be talking about predictive maintenance now, especially on the connected device. We are calling it to be an IoT connected device because Servitium CRM as a product, we also cater to a product called Servitium IoT, which is an end-to-end platform where you manage and monitor all your connected device in this platform. Where let's say you have a PCB enabled device which can transmit data to a cloud. Now this data can be monitored on this cloud called Servitium IoT. Now this can, one thing is you tend to monitor the health of the machine, be it, let's say I take example of water heater. So you can monitor the temperature of that water heater. You can check what is the water flow which is coming out as an output to this water heater. And then you also have an option to monitor as well as control also of this device. You can switch off this device. You can actually raise service tickets also. So here, if you see in the mid block, it is device management and monitoring and action and activity. Now these are three aspects that you tend to do if you have a connected device which is connected to a Servitium IoT. And this also have a ready adapters for your third-party integrations, very similar to what Alexa and other new bolt-ons features we have. So this ready adapter can give you business intelligence if connected to BI tool. It can be connected to Servitium CRM, where in spite you telling to your customers or your customer calling you for a breakdown, system can actually track if you have a suspected sort of breakdown coming in. So then a Servitium CRM can auto raise a service ticket. So just by monitoring the health of a machine, let's say it is the total water flow which is coming in from a water purifier. So if you have a standard parameter, let's say 5 liters per minute is a standard parameter. And if you see this parameter is dropping to a certain level, let's say 4 liter per minute, so system will trigger a ticket automatically, and this notification can be sent to the customer saying that you have a breakdown which is expected to come soon because we see a variation in the standard flow of water. So now, in spite of customer calling you and telling you a problem, you can notify your customer by way of SMS or by any other way, and the same ticket can be managed then further by standard operating procedures. So one is monitoring and the other can be control. So like here in the last column, if you have a mobile app, you can monitor and control. You have a BI tool integrated with it, which can tell you any number of repeat calls geographically and product wise product failures. You can have all those intelligence attached to it. You also do a ticket management by incorporating Servitium in CRM with the IoT device. So this is a piece which we have started to work on, and this is actually creating miraculous results. I'll be talking about a case study here on the Servitium IoT, and this is about one of the world's top 100 SME organization as per the Forbes magazine. They have about 1,000 consumer products, the competing home leaders, home appliances leaders. In product, they have service-intensive water purifiers. They have about install base of about 1 lakh products, so which is 100,000 products, and this is active products. So the problem was was reactive maintenance, manual quality assessment. They have restricted proactive action and visibility, and they had, although they had an existing CR service which is more of a custom-made CRM in place. So what they were doing initially was once they were getting a call from the customer, they were reacting to it, but they had no insight on the product failures, on any sort of insight. So for which we suggested Servitium CRM, with inbuilt Servitium IoT, the result of which was real-time fault detection. So the architecture was where all the devices were connected on IoT. If you see in the mid box here, all the rules and actions as defined by the customer was embedded into this platform, which was connected to Servitium CRM. And now they have a real-time fault detection. You monitor all your install base in single platform. You have a 24/7 into 365 automated reporting, which was more of manually in the past. You have a real-time data exchange. Your customer can view it. Your OEM and service center, if given access, they can monitor and control the devices. And as I said, it was initially manual ticket creation, which is more of a reactive maintenance. Now they have auto ticket creation. If any standard parameter deviates from a given threshold, so let's say you have 10 ampere standard temperature flowing, standard current, and let's say because of any reason, if you have 8 ampere current flow, system will auto create a ticket. So, and then currently they have all 1 lakh plus devices in place, and all them are seamlessly flowing information between the platforms. Daily 500 million messages they are popping up automatically. Now there is no manual intervention required on sending any notification based on various tickets and requirements. System is automatically triggering SMS to customers, not only on the service call but also on CSATs. Now it is more of a machine first. Initially it was more of customer first. Now machine tells you what has to be done. And now you have an enhanced customer satisfaction. The customer satisfaction, which was close to 60%, now it has moved up to 75%. Exact data we are yet to publish it. So, but then one thing is very sure that we have enhanced customer satisfaction, which is in turn getting more of customer retention, and which will in long term will give a better revenue for sure. So this is a piece which we've started to work on, and now we have made a couple of accounts made go live. So if you have any question on this, you can always type into your questions here. So now we'll be taking onto your questions, and I'll just reiterate here. You can always type into your question on the question box here, or you can raise your hands, and we'll be happy to serve your queries. So this is all from my end. Yeah, so I have the first question from Mr. Abhijit Dey. He is asking if we can share the presentation deck. Of course, yes. As I said, we are recording this session, and we'll be sending you the link. And we'll also speak to you one-on-one offline, and we'll send you the presentation deck and the kind of solution you're looking at. We'll be happy to share that with you. Then next question I have is from Mr. S. Bharat Kumar. How to decrease manpower and increase productivity? Of course, while we talked about various aspects here, so every component that we talked about here, it reduces manual effort and increases productivity. So I can very well assure you that you'll have a better ROI the moment you deploy these technologies in place. Like I said, if you talk about any component starting with call allocation or PO or franchisee PO or for that matter IoT or reporting feature, let's take an example. If you have one single person creating reports, multiple reports based on your requirement every day, so compiling and reconciling all that data together and then creating and populating reports, this itself is a big task. But here system gives you a real-time reports, which is more of a scheduler report. So you schedule a report, you configure a report here and schedule it to some users. Every morning at 9 o'clock, if you have scheduled it, you will get an automated report. No need to compile it and then publish it to various users. So yes, this will reduce manpower and increase your productivity. So this manual function can be deployed somewhere else then. Then I have a question from Mr. Salesh Tiwari. You say different call rates from different service center can be maintained and managed. Yes, if I go back here in the franchisee payout section, while Mr. Tiwari would like to know if we can configure different payouts, yes, we can do that. If you see in the top first line, which says payout setup on service center wise, local, upcountry, call time, model, and TAT. So these are aspects with that we can configure. But let's say you have two different service center. One works on a fixed model, other works on a variable model. You can create that particular type of service center, and then the auto calculation of ticket can happen. But then I would like to speak to you offline, Mr. Tiwari, once again to discuss more on this if you have any further queries on this. Then I have a question from Sivapandi Kasi. So they would like to know, already we are using Servitium CRM, how to activate the auto PO creation feature. So one thing is, we say that as a service provider, we give you this product as a standalone tool, which has all embedded features and functionality. However, if you already have a system in place, we can do a solutioning and we can understand what all feature we can give you as a bolt-on features that can be incorporated to your existing platform. However, this is a big tricky task. We have done it in a couple of organizations where we tend to give you a front end like a mobile app for customers or technicians, whereas you continue to use your existing CRM. We can do that. But just to understand more on this, I would say this is more of an open-ended question. We need to understand the solution, and based on that, we can suggest you a better answer on this. So I'll speak to you on this offline, sir, and then we can discuss more in detail. But yes, just to answer this, we can do one thing is entire CRM implementation, or based on the components required, we can have a add-on to your existing CRMs. Okay, let me just check. I think I have another question. Yeah, Mr. Nishan Jain. So Mr. Nishan Jain would like to understand, we have few queries mentioned below. What's the platform being using? Workflow setup supported for product replacement and franchisee payout. That's a wonderful question. He would like to know if we have a product replacement module and a franchisee payout and a workflow for the entire scheme here. I would say yes. I have not got into the details of various processes, but just to answer your question, we have the entire replacement module available. While your technician is replacing any spare, which can be an expensive affair, auto warranty spare, so that is subject to an approval. So this approval can be single level or it can be multi-level approval mechanism. So you can configure that. So anytime I would like to replace a spare, I would seek for an approval. This approval will be sent to the approving authority on a CRM, which once approved can be only replaced by the technician. And the same goes with PO also and your payouts. While the payout is calculated automatically, this needs to be approved by the manager. This can be one or it can be multiple level of managers. So this can be either daily evaluation process where you tend to approve on a daily basis, or it can be on a periodic basis you approve it, and then only this will send to the account. And like I said, in PO also, PO can be auto created, but this is subject to approval from the warehouse. If you want another level to be incorporated in between, we can do that. So as I said, any sort of approval can be either single or multi-level. So all those matrix you need to provide, and we can configure that.
Next question from Mr. Randhir. He is also using our Servitium. So how he is asking how they can manage and set ASC payout. So hello, Mr. Randhir. Actually, we have a master setup in our existing CRM. So where all the related templates are available. So accordingly, you can set or manage your ASCs and their payout as well. Next question from
Mr. Kiran Gupta. So I have a question from Mr. Kiran Gupta. You'd like to understand on the technologies on which we have a mobile applications. So I would request Yogita to answer on this. What all technologies we are adopting on mobile apps?
In a mobile application, this is an Android platform, and we are using a database over there, SQL. And if I will talk about the configuration of the mobile app, so this is a simple smartphone you can use, which is available in the market. So this is not an harsh and fast technology. You can use simple platform for the mobile applications.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Rajesh Sharma asking on the database end. What all database we are using? Yeah. So overall technology, we are using front end Java, and back end we are using Oracle database. But should you require any specific technical white paper, we can always share with you based on your requirement. We can have a detailed discussion on this as well. So I think more or less we have covered all the questions. We can wait for another 2-3 minutes. If you have any other questions, we'll be happy to answer that. Okay, then I have a question from Mr. Ramamurthy. He had a question saying there are many times we get order from a customer's HO, but the installation has to be done at different plant in a different region. How this is managed in your CRM? So, Mr. Ramamurthy, we have a different process which is called B2B commercials in place, where you can configure all the machines with multiple addresses. One can be your installation address, one can be your billing address. But yes, this feature is available in B2B commercial contracts, where you tend to manage multiple machines in the same contract. And then you also manage your work orders, which is more of a end-to-end work orders, where you, as an OEM, either you provide the service or you can deploy third-party service centers to manage those services. So yes, in B2B commercial contracts module, we have this feature in place. Then I have a question from Mr. Nishank Jain, asking chatbots are also part of omnichannel, such as WhatsApp integration. So we are working on WhatsApp integration. We are still waiting for those WhatsApp APIs. We are working on this piece, but this is yet to be made live. Once we'll have that thing in place, we'll certainly notify to the customer and we'll incorporate this feature onto various instances. But when you say chatbot, yes, chatbot is also we are working on, and we are in touch with a couple of providers. So that feature is yet to come, which is my future roadmap. Probably in the first quarter, or maybe by the first quarter of 2020, we'll be able to make it live. That's what our plan is. Then I have a question from Mr. Nagaraj. He would like to know, in franchisee service module, how to keep confidentiality of ERP information. So just to answer this, ERP information can be a single directional information flow or a bi-directional information flow. So one is you only extract the information from the CRM to ERP, or you also push some information from ERP to the CRM. So if you have chosen your information, like if I say if you only choose to push information of the PO request from your CRM to ERP, then there is no risk at all in terms of ERP information. While if you also want to dispatch from the ERP to be sent to the CRM, of course you will be exposing those APIs. But believe you me, all these APIs, we have a multi-level security available in place. So security won't be much of a challenge. Although you can choose not to integrate, but you can have a manual upload of various masters. So every day you can pull out the data from ERP and upload in the CRM. This will also work exactly what organization would want. Yeah, so it was really wonderful to have such an interactive session with so many questions. It really feels great to see such participation. Thank you very much to all of you for attending the session, and thank you, Yogita, for such a wonderful insight. We'll definitely will have a new session in the month of January with sort of new technologies, new features coming up. Till then, thank you very much. Goodbye.